2020 was a year none of us will soon forget, a global pandemic that touched all of our lives and marked us forever. For businesses, the year brought challenges we'd never before imagined. For some, those challenges were opportunities gift-wrapped in sandpaper, while for others, those challenges may yet prove insurmountable. The 2020 conversations had some common threads. Many conversations involved some speculation about if things would ever be normal again, or what the new normal might look like. At least every other conversation used the word pivot. And through it all, many of us had an even deeper understanding of resilience and perseverance in the middle of a crisis. Here at the Chico Chamber, as we planned for 2021, one thing was certain. We needed to do something to recognize and celebrate our businesses, even if we're still prevented from being together. The stories are still being written, and the heroes of our community are still being heroes. But for now, in this moment, we want you to pause and reflect on where we've been, what we've accomplished as a business community, and where we will go in the days to come. We hope you enjoy our year in review from the business community in the Chico Chamber, a year of pivots and perseverance and coming together in the face of a pandemic.
The Chico Chamber has had a front row seat as we have watched businesses, nonprofits, government agencies pivot during this pandemic. To say that it was awe-inspiring is an absolute understatement. But this is Chico, and this is what we do in the face of adversity. We get down, we look at the problem, and we solve it, and we work together. The Chico Chamber is proud to present this 2020 tribute to the community. We believe that everybody deserves an award.
For the first time in my career, every single one of our business banking customers wanted a loan at the same time. That's obviously never happened before. A couple of us pulled some almost all-nighters. We came in at 2 o'clock in the morning when we had a particular window that opened up for us where we could submit loans to the SBA. And the people that I called were like, boom, yeah, I'm there right now. And others that I didn't call were upset that I didn't call them so that they could come in at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, it was crazy, it was rewarding, and it was great to get all that money out to people who really needed it.
When COVID first hit and there was a total lack of any sanitizer in the area, nobody could get it, and it was kind of becoming a major problem. All of a sudden, we get a call from the city assistant manager, Chris Constantine, and he says, hey, have you guys thought about, making hand sanitizer for essential workers? And ironically, we had just been talking about it literally that day, but you really have to look into all the legalities of it, because you can't just start making 72% alcohol and selling it, and it's not tested, and there's all these things. So we got a hold of some of the federal agencies, and they said, you know what, we're being lenient right now. If you guys can produce sanitizer, go for it. The city was our first customer. They distributed to the fire, to police, Gridley, Yuba City, quite a few cities came to us, and we started manufacturing hand sanitizer. We just sold it for our cost, what it cost to make it. It made more sense at a time like that to help our community, get it out at a reasonable price to where people could afford to buy it, instead of profiting on it.
We have been in what we call our Department Operations Center, which we opened for emergency response, for over a year now. We had significant cuts to public health across the entire nation for decades before this pandemic hit. And so we didn't have the baseline that we needed to respond effectively. And so we have been scrambling for a year to build our workforce up in order to respond effectively.
There was so much uncertainty because of the pandemic that we really tried to jump on top of the issue and try to make the best of what we thought would be a great opportunity for our customers to benefit from a program. So we assigned ultimately about 200 people, and many of whom have never worked on a PPP loan in their life, including myself, and put them to work trying to take care of as many customers as we possibly could.
Our students got thrown into this literally overnight. We were supposed to be heading into spring break, and no, instead they went home and stayed home. And while we all look forward to vacation, I think that was a little longer spring break than anybody had anticipated. Now all of a sudden you're not just the parent and a working parent in many cases, but now you're also the teacher. And we heard about it for sure, that it wasn't easy, but our parents rose to the occasion and did it.
At the beginning of the pandemic, it was a pretty significant challenge to get all of our clients and partners moved just from their businesses to the kitchen table at home. And it was just a significant amount of work, but we knew it was necessary, and we helped them by moving a lot of things to the cloud. Hopefully it made a difference for them in their businesses.
The rules kept changing. The tiers we didn't have tiers, and also we have tiers, and now we're not here, and we're not. So it was very hard. It was mentally the roughest year. I've been doing it for 35 years, and mentally this was the roughest year I've ever had.
Middle of July was quite a horrendous time in the state of California, and what we saw was an immediate impact on our local businesses. And as you note, those folks in our restaurant industries were impacted probably more than most. And so immediately, staff here at the city went into full effect of how can we help mitigate those impacts to our local businesses. And one of the ways that we found is that I can utilize some authority that the City Council granted me through COVID-19 to create an order allowing for utilization of space that otherwise can't be used for dining for those restaurants. And not only was it on their property, we did an initial order to do that, but then secondarily, we did an order to allow for public space to be used as well. And it was just one of those fantastic, quick turnarounds. One of the things that I know is oftentimes government can be a very big hurdle for businesses to succeed. It's wonderful to be able to participate in a way that allows the local government to actually be a hurdle remover to allow businesses to continue to thrive. So it was exciting for the city to be able to help in that way, and I certainly think that we're going to have to find other continuing opportunities to help them. This was just one example that we can point to say we collaborated, we helped each other, and we made it work.
It's definitely been tough. We've had to adjust week by week. We're kind of rolling with the punches. The community has been on with us the whole time. We get calls every day for, are you open? Are you still open? Do you have seating? Can I order a cake? Can I order a pie? And that has continued the whole time. And so we're hanging in there with the public's help. We did have a lot of cancellations. People could not hold events. And so now as we're moving into spring, a lot of the weddings that were postponed are now picking up again and planning for the fall. So we are at right now about double what we were last year this time. Going forward, we're going to be very busy this summer.
We've maintained every guideline that we've been asked to do per the CDC and the state guidelines, and we've been outside. We've been able to keep people warm and dry, and it's been working. I'm very grateful.
We started to feel like, okay, we can unfortunately live with this pandemic and still survive. But it really it wasn't survival of the business. It was my responsibility was to be here and to give my employees a job. We changed our whole outlook on everything before. Everything before is, okay, we did this much money, now we got to do that much, and that wasn't it anymore. So it was more of, we just need to survive, pay the bills, and make sure that our employees feel safe. And that was it.
I think most of us would like to go to a restaurant again routinely, but they've been through hell, quite honestly. And I think that we have to recognize that they're really important to us, and what can we do to keep them around and keep them successful and get them through what is certainly not their fault. I am just wildly impressed with those types of businesses that have just every day trying to found a new way to keep the door open.
Everybody has felt an impact from this pandemic. Nobody has been left untouched. And yet, as a community, do we have differences of opinion in how to handle things or what we should be doing? Absolutely. But I have never once felt that this community has not been there for our students and for education.
We contributed $250,000 to our foundation, the Golden Valley Bank Community Foundation, to use for COVID relief. And we made a lot of contributions to nonprofit organizations in the Reading area. And then we made that $75,000 contribution to Enloe to match the Grossmans, who put up $750,000 in a matching grant for the costs of administering the vaccine. We felt like really it was the right thing to do, and we were happy we could do it.
We've been pretty fortunate to the nature of the business we're in to be able to keep serving up the cups of love. It's been a tough year for everybody, and you know, we're just going to keep going. We're going to keep taking a step forward, and we're just incredibly thankful to be able to open this new shop.
There were 3 different resources that made all of this happen, which I'm grateful for. One was a small business development center at Butte College. The second this happened, I immediately called representatives there, and they literally held my hand. They walked me through all the application processes, explained everything to me, what's going to be happening, what the PPP loan is, what it's going to cover, what it won't cover, you know, how long I need to spend it, all, you know, the stipulations that were there. So the Small Business Development Center was, you know, amazing. Secondly, Golden Valley Bank was incredible. I had the easiest time with them. They did everything I needed them to do. They were wonderful. They were able to get the PPP loan for the business so I can remain open very quickly. I was very impressed with them. I know there's a lot of people that really struggled with that loan, and I did not have any issues because of Golden Valley Bank. And then lastly, the Chico Chamber has been wonderful, providing masks, sanitizers, information. I've been communicating with them this entire time. So without those 3 resources, I don't know what I would have done. You know, everybody's been amazing. Their support's been amazing. You know, I've cried so many times to people to drive through this last year. It's been hard, but I'm very grateful. It's been wonderful.
The chamber really is amazing. I said something to Ann about it, and she says, "Well, go see Katie," because we've known Katie forever. And she jumped right on it, and Heather got on it, and we got all of that stuff going. They made a bunch of phone calls. And so, of course, within a short period of time, "Hey, bud, what do you think about joining the chamber?" So I thought, couldn't say no to that.
In order to support the business community, the Chico Chamber did a pivot of its own, and we did it quickly. We knew that we had to be the go-to organization for business and organizations to get the most current, up-to-date information that they would need to make it through the pandemic. And there were so many changes happening so quickly. So in the area of finance, the PPP, those rules were changing day by day. HR, legal, and also marketing and communications. How would these businesses market and communicate to their clients and their customers during the pandemic?
Katie came to our team because she realized that crisis communication is not something that the Chamber had done in the past. And her question was, how do we help? How do we support our businesses through this time? And nobody knew how long it was going to last. But what we did was we worked with Katie and Heather to quickly outline a strategy that was primarily designed to make the Chamber a resource information place as opposed to a networking, business gathering kind of site.
We scoured for information. We became researchers rather than reporters. And what that meant was each day we'd come in and we would look for information that we knew that would help our businesses. Along with that, we found our trusted sources of information. And I'm pleased to tell you that many of those trusted sources of information were our very own members.
We recognize early on, both public health and county leadership recognize that the only way to be effective in emergency response efforts is to have established, well-working relationships and partnerships with many entities across the county. If we didn't have those with the agencies like the Chamber, we would not have been able to do this effectively as we have.
We wanted it to everybody to have access to our information that we found out. We have a team of people that was their job, to gather those resources and disseminate those throughout our public, through our website. Employment laws, safety laws, they don't have to be voted on. They can just, here, this is what you have to do, and we do what we have to do to protect our community and our employers. We care about the community and our clients and the human resources industry as a whole.
Our employees took a great amount of pride in trying to help our community. we kept tabs of how many jobs would be saved as a result of those activities. And that came out to a number of 44,000 people that were going to keep their employment as a result of the program. So we took a lot of pride in doing that, and we're happy to accomplish that.
There is light at the end of the tunnel. We all have jobs, we're all working, we have community coming in constantly. So we all are working as a team to get through this together.
As we look at all of our businesses trying to work together, the city plays a pivotal role in helping to ensure that clean, health, and safe environment for people to be. And one of the things that I've seen is that it's not just the onus on the city, it's also on those business partners as well. And so the Chamber's really stepped up, been a great partner through this all to help us get through some of these challenges as well. And what we saw are individual businesses that too stepped up. And so if you talk about those public spaces, if you look at the parklets, for example, you have companies that stepped forward to give their own time, money, and resources to get some of those parklets put in place. And albeit the city played a role, I think those public spaces wouldn't have gotten to a point where those businesses can continue to operate without the helping hand of our local businesses as well. And so you look at the Knife Rivers, you look at the Slater and Sons, you look at these individuals that came forward and they said, you know what, we want to help through this as well. The city played a role, but it's the community that also plays that additional role. And I think that's really one of the reasons why Chico is so special.
Because of the efforts of our community, we are now starting to come out of this pandemic better than many other communities. I mean, people have been very good in our community about taking it seriously, about wearing their mask, about following rules. It is my goal, it is my intent, it is what I am planning for right now, that we come back in a traditional model for school next year.
So my personal hope is probably very similar to everyone else's, and that is that COVID will be in our past as soon as possible. Realistically, being a public health official, I understand that that is probably farther out than most people would want, including myself. We have vaccine out. We have it being distributed as we speak. Butte County has done an amazing job with, again, partnerships with our providers, including all 3 of our hospitals and our Federally Qualified Health Center, or FQHC AMPLA. We're actually in the top 10 of the state for administering vaccines per 100,000 population, and that's something we can be really proud about.
I'm grateful every table that comes in. We have a steady group, that are continuing to order to go, and we have a following on our patio. So between the two, we have enough business to get through this pandemic. I'm very confident that we will be fine in this.
We're happy to still be in business and happy to support our community and happy that our community is still supporting us, and look forward to continually serve them with great food and great spirits and great wine.
We have a virtual beer tasting scheduled for about 3 weeks out with Sierra Nevada. Unsurprisingly, if you send out an email to your entire staff that says free beer, there's a lot of engagement with that. We're very much looking forward to that. Obviously very much looking forward to getting back in the office and working face-to-face with our clients again, but we'll do that when it's safe and take the precautions we need to.
We have challenges before us, and so we're gonna have to continue to come together to solve those. We have a lot of successes ahead as well, and I'm looking forward to celebrating with the community through those successes as well. So as long as we can continue to forge ahead and look to that brighter future that is ahead for this city, it should be exciting. Everybody should be looking forward to that, because I know I am.
I'm Jolene Francis, Director of Advancement and Communications at Enloe Medical Center, and outgoing Chairman of the Board for the Chico Chamber of Commerce. And today we're standing in front of the beautiful big room at Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, where we would normally celebrate our annual awards dinner and official transition of leadership for the Chamber. Today's a little different. It's been a heck of a year, and who could have seen any of this coming? I mean, really, who could have seen this coming? But the Chamber of Commerce is an important organization here in Chico and throughout our region. I've said for many years that everything you see is the result of a successful business. Whether it's the car you drive or the road you drive on, the shoes on your kids' feet or the school they attend, the software on your cell phone or the hardware at the fire department. All of it is made possible by successful business. Businesses that pay taxes and employ people who pay taxes. Government doesn't make our lifestyles possible. They don't. Business makes it possible. And the work that the Chamber of Commerce does to support local business is critical. Now more than ever, our region has suffered through so many tragedies and disasters the last few years. I mean, it's been really tough to be a successful business, but the business community has pulled together. We've done what's necessary. We've worked to make each other stronger. Don't give up now. Keep going with that fight. Keep moving ahead. It's going to get better, and we're going to succeed. We appreciate all the work of our Chamber Board of Directors. We appreciate the work of the Executive Committee, but more importantly, we appreciate our members and our partners. You make it happen. Every day, in every way, you make it happen. Now, my year has come to an end, and I look forward to the new leadership of our next chairman. And I'm happy to pass the gavel to our new chairman, Ben Winter, the Director of Business Development at TransferFlow. Ben, a big job needs a big gavel, and I'm happy to pass this gavel to you. Good luck in the coming year. We're all behind you. We're gonna make it.
Thank you, Jolene. Words can't express the gratitude that I have for you and what you've done by demanding action and success over 2020. The foundations that you have created a path for the Chamber and the community to drive forward. My name is Ben Winter, and I'm with TransferFlow Incorporated. We're a local manufacturer that, like everybody here, has had to pivot and redefine how we do business. Protecting our employees and our community has been one of our most important goals over last year. We've been blessed that we're a manufacturer and that we're in the automotive aftermarket segment. With everybody restricted to travel, many have chosen to take it to the road and create their own adventures. We are poised, ready to give the customers and our OEMs the freedom to stay away from the gas stations. My excitement entering this journey as the chairman of the board is fueled with optimism, enthusiasm, and hope. I'm optimistic that 2021 will open up old paths and also offer new ones. I'm enthusiastic about working with the team at the Chamber, the board members, the city, and the local businesses, all wanting our community to flourish. I am hopeful that we continue to work together and support the community with the drive and the compassion that we saw in 2020. As most of you know, I love to run, and so I look at the COVID process as a marathon. It's long, it requires endurance, and ultimately, it's a crusher. But the finish line is the best reward. So as we approach the virtual finish line of COVID restrictions, we must work hard as a board to identify how we can best serve you, the local business community. We'll be putting our time and energy towards finding solutions and paths to many topics called out in the special report of 2021. Our 21 focus is to work alongside community leaders and address areas like attainable housing, safety, the cleanliness of our city and our parks. We must understand and focus in on issues that impact recruitment and retention. We have proven that Chico can manage crisis, and now it's time to pivot and get back to the focus of growth and leadership. We believe that the success of Chico depends on the success of businesses, and we are committed to do everything in our power to keep Chico moving forward.
And I'd like to thank our partners, our members, our board of directors, and especially the staff for just staying the course as we work to support businesses in Chico. We look forward to this year with great anticipation. We can't wait to meet with you in person. Come by your business, see how things are going. And we know that there are lots of pivot stories and perseverance stories that we've yet to hear. Your Chico Chamber will continue to be here to support and advocate on behalf of businesses well into 2021 and beyond.